Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Ann at Martin House Flowers. I thought I'd just take you along on a quick little walk around the garden as I think about preparing the beds for my tulips that did arrive over the last couple days. The last box arrived today, so I thought I would just sort of take you through that process of opening my boxes and showing you the beautiful tulips that I picked up. If you're wondering why I ordered these tulips, I think I mentioned in the last video that I was inspired by Bunny Guinness, and who planted a bunch of tulips about a week ago over in the UK. And to be honest, last year we had a warm spell, and in February I also planted some tulips. So it seems like I repeated history where I got caught up in a sale online, and this year it was from Tulip World, and you'll see that I got some really beautiful tulips, and I think I got 100 daffodils, white ones, about 125 of my other varieties, and then another 125. So something like 250 plus 100. Let's not do the math. Anyway, you'll see from my video that the ground was not exactly workable, but in any case, I do have a plan B, and we're getting a winter warning effect for this evening. And yet tomorrow the weather forecast is supposed to be around 40. So we shall see what happens. I'll keep you posted on that. I just wanted to share with you this quick little video on my unboxing, and also taking a look at my seedlings of my sweet peas and pansies to see how they're doing. So thanks for joining me today on this quick video, and we'll see you again. Thanks. In case you're wondering, this is the tall raised bed that we call our kitchen garden. I'd planted some garlic in there in the fall, and when I referred to planting bulbs last February, this is the bed that I had planted some yellow tulips that came up really beautifully. I believe they came up around the month of May, and I was really curious whether or not they would come up again this year, but likely not. But hey, if anything comes up here in this raised bed, that'll be a bonus. So I was just taking my hodag and going along trying to see if it was workable. It was certainly much colder and frozen as compared to last February in that raised bed. Last weekend, I convinced Greg to take me to the local hardware store. We saw in the flyer that topsoil was on sale in these bags for $2. And I typically buy my compost from them for about $2.50. But since the topsoil was on sale, we bought 2 to 1. And I think we got about 5 or 6 bags for 2 beds. And there's that dang rabbit that was living in this raised bed here that has my bachelor's buttons and delphiniums and African daisies. As you can tell, I didn't get a chance to clear these late blooming flowers, cut flowers, so the bunnies took advantage of that. So here I am in my zinnia bed and my other filler flower bed that was pretty clear, so I thought we'd throw the bags in there and potentially plant the tulips. And these are the 2 snapdragon beds, and sure enough, that was the bed. And those bunnies, I tell you, I've got to take care of that for next year, because that bed is where a couple bunnies love to live all summer long. They don't seem to bother my other beds. I think they were in the beds with the pumpkins, but in any case, that is what they do. So here's my plan B. I have a couple of these large containers that I dragged into the garage. These used to hold my Norway spruces that were sitting at the front porch and then on the patio over the summer, and we had finally planted them out into the row of trees next to, I think I planted them next to our lilacs last fall. So I'm dragging them into the garage, and I have some Pro Mix in my trunk that's hopefully not frozen, that I will fill up and be able to plant some tulips. And that no whining sign is from this very nostalgic shop on Main Street in Schaumburg, where I used to have my art gallery. And it reminds me of my kids. You know, I used to have that in my potting shed, and it was basically to say no whining allowed in my private little potting shed. And now I think that sign is really telling me to stop whining about all of my complaints in the garden and complaints about the weather. So there's some of the bulbs that I'd planted in the fall in my containers, and as you can see, some are dry and they're starting to come up. And here we go. We got a knock on the door just about an hour ago, and this 3rd box of tulips arrived. So I believe I have another 150 more bulbs that arrived, and I really liked the 2 varieties, the pale yellow ones and the fringe tulips. You'll see I ordered 3 bags of this pale yellow tulip. It's so pretty, called Akabono tulip, I think it's pronounced, and you can see some of the bulbs already sprouting. So whenever I have pink and purple, I always like to have a little bit of yellow as a contrast. And hopefully that makes up for the fact that I got white daffodils. Greg says that daffodils can't be any color but yellow, but I got white ones. So I think I made up for it by getting some of these pale yellow ones. And this mix here with the pink and purple was my least favorite, but I went ahead and ordered them. And my apricot parrot tulip is one of my favorites. I know I planted some before, but I'm not sure what happened to those, but so I did get 2 bags of 50. So another 150 tulips plus the other 125. So that is going to be quite the challenge to plant those in the raised beds and fit them all into containers. So here are my pansies seedlings that we planted together just a few days ago, less than a week ago. And pansies like to be in darkness, so that's why I have those trays covering the humidity dome, and I am keeping them in the greenhouse for now because this is a cool flower, as well as sweet peas are also a cool flower. So they both need darkness to germinate, but the sweet peas get buried about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep, and then I put vermiculite on top, so they did not need to be covered. And look at that. Can you see it? There is a little seedling popping its little head. I'm so excited. I honestly was wondering if I should bring these indoors because we have decided to turn off the heater in the greenhouse. We've been running a gas heater and an electrical heater, and oh my gosh, I cannot tell you or admit the exorbitant electrical bill we got. It is really unbelievable. And so we immediately decided to turn it off because you'll see here that all I have in here, my favorite, oh, I'm so sad about that fern, foxtail fern. I don't know if it's done, but I did carry in my lemon tree into my front foyer because overnight the leaves got curled and I just panicked, and we were getting another freeze warning, and just before Greg left on his business trip about a week ago, I had him carry it in, and it seems to be recovering. It went into a little shock, but I'm going to keep it in my front foyer because after that heating bill, we just cannot afford to have that heater running. So here's my recovering lemon tree. I did defoliate some of the curled leaves, but it seems to be doing okay. So I want to thank you for joining me today on this cold winter day, and I look forward to sharing with you my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.